Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Chris. I'm with Mobile Auto Works, and in today's video we're working on a 2018 Dodge Journey. What we're going to be doing today is simple maintenance. We're going to do an oil change and replace the spark plugs on here, so stay tuned. We're going to get right into this. Okay, for this job, the tools you're going to need is a ratchet, an extension, spark plug socket, a T27 Torx bit, an oil filter wrench. You don't have to have one, but it's good to have. Obviously our oil filter, spark plugs, and our oil here, and a socket set. This isn't a very hard job. You don't need very many tools to do this, and we can get it done pretty quick. One of the other things you're going to need is an oil catch can. We have that here. I already went ahead and got this vehicle jacked up on jack stands just so I have a little more room to get underneath it. Next thing we're going to do is grab our oil drain here. We're going to open it up and get that prepared. Next step is we're going to grab our ratchet and a 13mm socket. The drain plug is located right here. That's the 13mm. We're going to start with cracking it loose here. We're going to get the oil drain in first. Just loosen it up. Be careful not to make a mess. Pull it up quick. The next tool we're going to need is our filter wrench. Now, what we're going to do now is, while the oil's draining, we're going to grab this and try to loosen it up. Now that we got the filter loose and the oil's draining, we're going to let this finish up here, and we're going to put the plug back in there and then move on over to the oil filter here. We're going to reinstall the drain plug. We're just going to snug it up, being careful not to over tighten it. Now we're going to move over here to the oil filter. We're just going to remove that. As soon as you start to loosen it, it's going to start dripping oil. Just like that. Now that it's finished draining a little bit, we're going to remove it carefully without trying to make a mess. We're going to come over here and get our oil filter. What I like to do is catch a little bit of this oil while it's draining here and lubricate this O-ring here on the oil filter and reinstall the oil filter. You don't want to over tighten this, but you don't want to under tighten it, so make sure it's not going to fall off the vehicle basically. Now that we have the oil drained and the oil filter changed, we're ready to fill up the vehicle with new oil. What we're going to do here is remove the oil cap. We're going to insert the funnel here. We have 5 quarts of oil here. This vehicle takes, I think, about 4.5 quarts, so we're going to start with 4.5 quarts. We're going to carefully remove the funnel. And now that we got this engine full of oil, we're going to put the cap back on and get it off these jack stands. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start the vehicle and let it run for a few seconds. Now we're going to pull a dipstick and check the oil level. First, we're going to wipe it. That's what we want to see right there. And then we're going to reinstall the oil cap here. And that's it. We're good to go on the oil change. Next thing we're going to start working on is removing these coils to get down to those spark plugs. Now, as far as releasing these tabs goes, I like to use a small screwdriver with a magnet. You'll see why I like to have this magnet in a minute. But I like to pull these red tabs back. Sometimes they can be a pain in the butt. Then you squeeze the gray tab and remove the pigtail. We're going to do this on all four real quick. The next step here is to remove these T27 torque spits that hold the coil packs in. What I like to do is pull the coils out and inspect them. These ones look okay. And then I like to set them on the windshield cowl here in the order they came out. What I'm looking for here is a whole bunch of oil in case the valve cover gasket is leaking. It can sometimes leak into the cylinders and fill them up. And if that's the case, then we'll want to go ahead and replace the valve cover gasket. The next thing we're going to need is our extension and our spark plug socket. The reason why I said I like these screwdrivers with magnets is because my spark plug socket is very old and it doesn't pull the spark plugs out anymore. So I like to go fish them out with this little screwdriver. You can finish them off by hand sometimes. Now we're going to take our screwdriver and collect our spark plugs. Now, you can see this brown mark here. That is a sign that these are very old spark plugs. You can also tell if you look very closely, it's wearing at an angle here. It's another sign that these are very old spark plugs. This right here is compression loss through the seal. So these have obviously been in this vehicle for a very long time. This vehicle just rolled over on 100,000 miles, which is about the time that it's due for new spark plugs. So we're right on time with this maintenance. We're going to go ahead and install these new spark plugs. So now we're going to drop our spark plugs in carefully. I like to get them all started by hand here. Now we come back through with our ratchet and make our final pass. These spark plugs have crush washers, so you want to tighten them down until you feel the crush washer and then go a little past that, not too much. And now the spark plugs are installed. The next thing we're going to do is reinstall these coils. Typically, I would replace these coil boots here. The customer did not want to go ahead and do that at this time. Reinstall these Torx bolts here, starting by hand. Then we're going to come back through with the impact gun. Just snug them down. Now we're going to come back through and reinstall these pigtails, being sure to lock these red tabs back in place. And just like that, we performed a tune-up and an oil change on this Dodge Journey. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Give me a like, share, comment, any of that stuff helps us. And we'll see you on the next one.